I'd like to open by giving everyone a little background about how we got here today. Just to give you a little history of this opportunity. Over the past 8 to 10 years or so, I vigilantly pursued a vision to lead our endeavors to change Atlantic City's history by creating America's first oceanfront cybersecurity city. Well, first, before I go any further, I want to acknowledge a couple of folks. Councilman Bruce Weeks is in the back there, our distinguished councilman. Of course, we have our sponsor, the Honorable Congressman Jeff Van Drew is here. Our distinguished councilman and the chair and president of the NAACP, Kaleem Shabazz. The lady that we addressed her, she was an assemblywoman when she first got elected, but now we call her the cyber assemblywoman, Claire Swift. And our distinguished Atlantic City Police Department Chief, James Sarkos, keeping our community safe. If I missed anybody and you're important, just point it out and I'll make sure we mention you. But thank you all for joining us today. This is a very, very special time. It's a very special moment for me because, as I started out saying, I've been working on this, creating a new oceanfront cyber city. That's one thing I always want people to say first. When you refer to Atlantic City, when you refer to cybersecurity, I want you to start out by saying ocean front, because that's very important. Because, you know, the only thing that God is not making no more of right now is oceanfront property. And God blessed Atlantic City when he created this city. And now we want to do our best to protect this city by making sure we fight crime with every angle we have, every technology we have. We want to make this the safest city in America, starting with the leadership of Congressman Jeff Van Drew's cyber crime reduction program. You know, to achieve this major milestone, we had to get buy-in from a lot of folks over the years, government officials, city business, and the focus was changing the economic paradigm. And what I mean by that, right now Atlantic City for many years have been depending on casinos to keep this economy going. And we can see that casinos are starting to diminish in terms of revenue. So what do you do when you have something like that? You follow the examples that somebody like Congressman Van Drew sets out. Well, let's change the economic paradigm. Let's bring a new industry to Atlantic City. Let's be the first ones in America to bring cybersecurity and artificial intelligence workforce training to Atlantic City, because at the end of the day, the casinos need cybersecurity trained personnel. The Federal Aviation needs cybersecurity trained personnel. New grocery stores are going to be needing cybersecurity trained personnel. So when Congressman Van Drew supported us for this grant, the first thing he said is, let's use technology and innovation to create a safer Atlantic City. So by doing so, we wanted to follow something that was a vision also of Secretary Ben Carson when he was the Secretary of HUD. Secretary Ben Carson came to Atlantic City. He designated us as an Envision Center. The first day the Secretary was here, Congressman Van Drew's office was right here with us with the Secretary. And they stayed on top of us and said, Jimmy, stay on top of this opportunity because we need to bring it to Atlantic City. We need to make the city safer with it. But more importantly, we need to train Atlantic City families first to have these new jobs that are career-oriented jobs that can take you many places. But we don't want you to leave Atlantic City once we train you. We want you to stay in Atlantic City and work in Atlantic City once we educate you and get you certified. So doing that, we followed the Secretary's lead, and Congressman Van Drew's office kept touching base with me and saying, Jimmy, what's going on with the program? How can we help the program? You know, let's keep this program alive. And I said, well, we got to get some buy-in. And we were very honored that one of the first buy-ins was from the Honorable Atlantic County Prosecutor, William Reynolds, who happens to be our honorary chairman of our initiative. And what better way can you start out any kind of cyber security project than having the Atlantic County prosecutor or any prosecutor as your honorary chairperson. We were able to enlist the support of Cyber Assemblywoman Claire Swift, who also has introduced legislation, which she's going to share some information with you about making this the cyber city of America. We have to do the kind of things here that Mark Zuckerberg and other people have done over the Silicon Valley in California. We have to bring the cyber industry here. Having a police force that understands and maximizes the use of cybersecurity and artificial intelligence is important. So what this is going to happen here, this grant, which is called ARA X5, and I explained to everybody, ARA in that name stands for a guy named Admiral Hyman Rickover. Now, Hyman Rickover was a gentleman that built all of America's nuclear submarine fleet. And he had a philosophy. He one time said, when all the children in Russia and China and North Korea are going to school to become engineers and scientists, etc., our kids were going to the West Coast to get in the entertainment business. And we thought that was such a profound thought. We said, you know what? We're going to take Admiral Hyman Rickover's name and create our cyber program named after him, so we can keep that kind of focus that we want to train our youth and our adults to be the next cyber agents of America. So we started pulling together the pieces. We started partnering with some HBCUs to come up with a program, and a company called CyberPoint out of Maryland, which is here today with Horace Jones. He's going to talk to you about the program. And they do all of the work for Department of Defense and some other government agencies to keep America safe in terms of cyber threats. So what better way to create our program than to get with the best cybersecurity organization in America, CyberPoint, okay? We got with CyberPoint, we started working on our program, and we get a phone call from Congressman Jeff Van Drew's office. And they said, Jimmy, could you guys use a grant for the program to get the program off the ground? And we said, absolutely. They said, well, look, this is what you got to do. Put together your paperwork, put together your numbers, your budget, how you're going to be accountable, which is always most important, how you're accountable with funds, whether they're private funds or federal funds, and I'm going to work on getting you guys a grant. And please join me to give a round of applause because the Congressman got us the grant.